So Star Wars The Acolyte, what is it actually about? You know, we've had Leslie Headland talk about, it's a story of the Sith. We've got 2 episodes left. It's not really happening, is it? Is it about the distribution of power? God, who knows? Again, 2 episodes left, who knows? From a narrative perspective, this show absolutely unequivocally will not wrap itself up in any meaningful way. That's a given at this point in time, because we know, based on episode runtime and the amount of episodes left. But Leslie Headland has come out and said it's about breaking down Jedi as a concept. I think she likes to think this show is about more than it is. So, yeah, I find these interviews very, very comical from the perspective of a showrunner describing and trying to sort of market and rationalise, I guess, what they've created. Because that's certainly not how it's received. So we'll take a look at this. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Turn the bell notifications on. And, yeah, I think this is an interesting one. The article's linked down below. But anyway, like I said, it's about breaking down the Jedi as a concept. She says some really bizarre stuff in this interview. It's an interview with Collider. So she was asked, anyway, for you as a fan of Star Wars, how much fun has it been to get to pick apart these ideas that have been baked into the franchise for so long, and then flip the narrative a little bit and make people look at things from a different point of view? Which is funny, because it's like, hey, as a fan, how have you enjoyed just sort of disseminating Star Wars as a whole, you know, dissecting it and just breaking it apart? So that's a weird thing to ask anyone, especially someone that proclaims to be a fan. The whole point is not deconstructing it, is it, from a fan? As a fan, you'd enjoy playing in that park, not deconstructing it. So Leslie said, I hope it's making people look at it from a different point of view. I can understand that fans, especially people who don't know the High Republic, that's like everyone then, isn't it, may feel like criticising the Jedi as they exist in George Lucas's oeuvre, meaning the prequels in episode 5 through 6, but that's not the case. We're so much further back from that. We're in that era that Obi-Wan is talking about in A New Hope. We're in that period where the proliferation of power is so huge and far-reaching. Actually, in the next episode, you're going to see how far-flung particular missions with Jedi are and the lack of oversight. Okay, haven't seen any of that, but alright. So in a follow-up question, Headland made it clear what her intention was. Lovett said, Collider said, we get a little bit of a tease of that here in this episode with the whole thing with Ray and Court talking about doing this audit, essentially of the Jedi Order, which I think is great. That's very true to where George Lucas was approaching things in the prequels, which is very political, very much a response to that kind of dynamic with the Jedi. Alright, so Headland then goes, yeah, so comparing these Jedi to the Jedi in the prequels is a little difficult because it's 100-ish years, it's a century. So you see Venestra's like, we cannot let this happen. She gets more and more concerned about that at the end of the season, and rightfully so, because she, as a very powerful Jedi Master, can sort of see what's on the horizon. Whereas when we meet the Jedi in the prequels, they're completely enmeshed at that point. Are they going to approach it from a perspective of it was a big Jedi cover-up all along and they knew the Sith was there? Why do we keep like making quintessentially evil, what is supposed to be the embodiment of evil, the Sith, like this sort of like likable characters? Oh, they just got some issues here and there. No, they're murderers. They're warmongering fascist murderers. What are you talking about? What are we doing? Anyway, so then she went further. Going back to your question, one of the interesting ways to unpack the Jedi is, when they're at the height as they are here, they don't seem to be at the height. In fact, they seem incredibly incompetent, but okay. What are the things they're doing differently? A Jedi doesn't pull their weapon unless they're prepared to kill. That's just the High Republic concept. That's just the lame-ass concept. They don't have battle droids. They don't have other people with lightsabers. Who else had lightsabers in the Jedi? Unless they were Jedi. What? There isn't any reason to pull it. Comparing that to anybody in the prequels, it's not the same. They're just not the same Jedi. Yeah, One's like Temu version. So in my opinion, and in my experience, and what I was interested in digging into is, it seems like it's a time where you can break down the Jedi as a concept. Whereas I wouldn't want to touch what has been established of them a century later. Okay, fine. And the article says it's not shocking that Headland would want to tear down the Jedi, because later in the interview she admitted that she put her personal ideology into the character of Khmer, the Sith villain. After briefly touching on the relationship between Khmer and Osha, Headland said, "Once the response happened, I was like, great, everyone's responding the way I did, to Manny's performance, to the intention of the character, to his personal ideology that I really relate with." Because if you think about it, he's very much the counterculture character in the show. So I love that everybody's focused on everything else. No, people like him because he's just a good actor. He's pulling off a good performance. The only good performance in the show, with Lee Jung-jae as well as Master Soul. But that's about it. So it says this: if you have not seen the show, Khmer's personal ideology is embodied in a line from the show's 5th episode when he informs Master Soul that he wants freedom, the freedom to wield my power the way I like, without having to answer to Jedi like you. I want a pupil, an acolyte, but this one went back on our deal. She exposed me. So now I have to kill every single last one of you. I don't make the rules, the Jedi do, and the Jedi say I can't exist. They see my face, they all die. What? So Leslie Headland is like, yeah, I'm a sociopath, mate. I just want to kill everyone. What? That's a weird thing to admit to, but alright. So she apparently wants loads of freedom to be evil, I guess. What a weird thing. What? That's so bizarre. That's really, really bizarre. Very, very odd. I mean, there's some other bits and pieces here and there, but yeah, this is bombed. This is going to keep bombing. It is a bomb. Mainstream media is coping hard. But also this sort of need, this incessant need to deconstruct things. It doesn't make anything better. And if you're a fan, do you want to deconstruct what you're supposedly a fan of? Probably not. I would say anyone attempting to deconstruct something that they proclaim to be a fan of is probably not a fan. Because just getting the chance to play in the world that you allegedly love should be enough. Why would you want to deconstruct it? I want to, break down the Jedi as a concept. Why? Surely just playing with these little action figure toys would be enough, no? Bizarre. Anyway, I thought you'd find this interesting. I did. So hit subscribe if you're new here, like I said at the start. Turn the bell notifications on. And if you enjoy videos like this and you want to support me further, because I do get demonetized, check out my Patreon. It's the first link down below. Take care. Bye-bye now.